Hey everybody, welcome to the Trout Hawk channel. Thanks for being here. I want to talk about Montana fishing pressure and what I've kind of learned about it, just anecdotally from my own observation over the past 5 or 10 years that I've really been focused on it. And I really think that it's pretty subjective. I've been a guide on one of the famous tailwater rivers since 1990, and I've seen a lot of fishing pressure on this river. I don't know if I've ever seen it to the extent that I'm seeing it this year in 2026, and also not as intense in terms of its effect on the fish, just due to fisherman knowledge. And in other words, more fishermen are catching more fish, basically is what it amounts to. It does have an effect, and they've done the numbers and the studies as far as mortality rates go. I refer to a study that I read many years ago, and they talked about a 20% mortality across the board with all water temperatures and all fishing angler expertise, handling, and so forth. So that being said, yeah, there's pressure, and it's put on a resource that's already pressured. All of our Montana resources are pressured. The problem is, what are we going to do about it? What's a logical solution? And basically, the way I look at it, I don't know if there is one. The one that I have in mind is very drastic, and that would involve putting Montana's streams, fisheries on a lottery basis and units, just like we do with hunting in all the states. Limited numbers of draw. Although it would be very generous and lenient, everyone would get to come to Montana and fish. They may not get to come to their favorite river during the time that they want to fish, but they're going to be able to come to Montana during the time they want to fish, or they're going to be able to fish their favorite river at some time. So, but that doesn't take into account the incredible financial and economic impact that these fisheries have, and what it means to so many guides and outfitters, Airbnb owners, hotel owners, restaurants throughout our great state. We're lucky to have the resource that we have. It's virtually unlimited. I don't know if you could fish all of our water in a lifetime. I've tried. It's a wonderful thing, and it seems to me that in the great tailwater areas that we have where there's an abundance of trout, three in particular that I think of, and that's the Bighorn River, the Missouri River, and the Madison. These are heavily fished waters, and I think that basically people come there and they don't expect to find solitude. They're there for the big fish, which is what you find below these tailwaters, and they're there for the numbers of fish that are possible to catch. So with that being said, there's a couple different ways of approaching fly fishing. One is from a purely solitude standpoint, and that might involve walking and hiking in to some of our great resources that we have that are streams. Many people aren't able to do that, whether age or physical limitations. The other way is looking at it is on these great rivers that we have to float fish. Many people fish entirely out of the boat, and they just fish from the boat. Not to say that many anglers don't get out and fish. Many anglers do, but lots and lots of people nowadays are fishing right from a drift boat. So, and it's relative and it's subjective, because you might have a really nasty day. The fish are going to get a break just because the angler is challenged. Or you may have a whole lot of anglers on a certain day that are really experts and they really catch a lot of fish. But then maybe the next, you have a bunch of people that are beginners and they don't catch as many. So, you know, I think it's just so multivariable. I just don't know how to wrap my mind around it, other than it just boils down to angler experience. And when we do our surveys in Montana, pressure does come up on the survey, but I don't think it's been a main issue. Everyone recognizes it. Everyone knows it's there. So that's going to be my word on pressure as it stands right now. Like I said, my solution is pretty drastic. There may be other variants of it that aren't as drastic, but as it stands right now, I just leave it alone at that and take each day as it comes on the river. And that includes the weather, really, really nice weather with lots of people on the river. You might have a day, for instance, just throwing numbers out, where you have 100 boats on the river. Those 100 boats are going to catch less fish per boat, if all things being equal, than say a day where you had the same kind of day and 50 boats on the river. It's just the way it is. So that's another variable that's thrown into the equation. So yeah, it's a wonderful resource. I think we can all just look at it in the terms of it is what it is, and take it for what it comes, and do our very best to handle and treat the fish with the greatest respect. And that might mean angler restraint. I know that's hard to do when you're really, really nailing them, really catching a lot of fish, but you know, when is enough enough? And we've all been in situations and you're really, really getting them and it's hard to stop. But yeah, a lot of anglers can be happy with a few really nice fish, and that's what the rivers I have mentioned have to offer. And that's not saying that the other streams and other tucked away places don't have the same thing. They're just not as famous for it. So I don't know, I hope this kind of lets me express my views on the subject and how I feel about it. So thanks for listening to this, and have a great day.